Comenzamos a grabar. Bueno, bienvenido. I'm already speaking in Spanish. So, welcome to our book club. Today, we're going to be discussing a book called Emotional Intelligence. I think it's a very interesting book, and the topic very important for anyone, especially for the business owner. I think it's a very important topic. Um, As always, we're gonna do the evaluation of the book in three categories, in three parts: how it was written, overall, and how did the book impact you. And this time I want to start with Stefano. He always passes to me, but let's start with Stefano.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I like the book. I will give it, like, in terms of impact right now, I'll give it a 6, and then for the rest, I'll give it a 7. Um, I think just that because I think the one that had the most amount of impact to me when it comes to relationships was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
Um, and I think that one for me was like a 10 overall. So maybe this would have had the similar impact if I had read it first. Um, it was the other way around. But yeah, I like the book. I like the principle of just, you know, emotional intelligence in general. It's something that it's something that at least myself, I'm always working on. And it gets harder to manage when you're busy. Um, like the busier you are, the harder it is to like figure this out. But yeah, maybe we can talk about the specifics. But I like the book.
Yeah, I think emotional intelligence, and I like the part where it says when you get like too busy, you kind of like forget about it, right? Because you are busy
Yeah,
doing stuff. But there's a lot of parts in what we do is so important to have that emotional intelligence. So I have few things that are written down, that is like a it's part of the emotional intelligence, which is understanding your emotions. So basically, understand how you react to the things. Okay, because again, every time you react on something, you have some sort of emotions. Some triggers that you have on certain things that happens. The next one is emotional intelligence. It's a concept of emotional intelligence, how it can be developed to improve personal and professional relationship. The other one is empathy. I think empathy it's a very important um, thing that you need to know how to manage, because sometimes you can, and I think it comes from understanding and connecting with the person, because it's hard to have empathy if you don't really understand or tune in what person's saying. It can be anywhere, in a relationship, in a negotiation, a friend. In order to have empathy, you need to tune in with the person. um the other part is self-awareness. The book emphasizes the need for self-awareness to identify emotional triggers and understand how emotions influence behavior. You know, so self-awareness, I think it's super important. If you don't, it's basically understanding yourself, how you react on things. And I don't know if you have ever done it, but I catch myself many times and reacted on something that is like, why did I react like that? Why was And it's something triggers, and that's how you start understanding yourself, and how you start adjusting the things that are doesn't make sense, that things that triggers you is like, why? And then you try to fix that. Not always get fixed. Sometimes you need to redo that many times in order to really eliminate that trigger or something, you know. Um, Also practical exercises. I mean, like I mentioned, doing just one time is not enough, you know, finding those triggers and be aware of them and changing them. But once you understand that those are triggers of the emotions and you can manage them and you can even eliminate them in some cases, it's a very blessing thing.
Yeah, I I agree 100%. I think I have told you before that I keep a journal. It's like a Google Doc, and I just write the date and then whatever I have on my mind. And the beautiful thing about that is that I can control F and just type like feeling. Um,
Mm,
and I can just jump into whenever I talk about feeling, how I'm feeling.
mm.
And that becomes really useful. It has been very useful to me lately. But yeah, and
Give me an
go ahead.
example. Give me an example.
So I mean, without having to go too personal, but whenever I feel a certain emotion that I don't like, maybe I feel like down, maybe sad, I make it a point to write about it. And for a couple months, well, not a couple months, but in the last couple of weeks, I wrote about it. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I have written about this before in this journal. And I searched for it, and I had. And actually, what I
Mm,
had typed was that at one specific time I felt like that, and then I went for a run and I exercised, even though I didn't want to, and and I felt better. And actually typed that later.
mm,
Um, so it was a clear example of a past me that literally faced this issue and overcame it. Like actually did it,
mm.
and I was like, maybe I should just do this, right? Um,
It's
like
like a pattern.
figuring,
You catch yourself in a pattern and in
yes,
interesting.
yeah, and you just yeah you probably already solved that problem before at some point. And if you wrote about it, then you can just search for it instead of trying to remember. Um, so yeah.
Let me ask a question. Um, how many times you as a business owner have a feeling of fear?
Of fear. Um, of fear. I used to be much more often before, much more often. Now it's a little bit less,
Okay.
but
And you think
um,
it's less because you are more confident in what you're doing, or because you already make some mistakes and then you overcome them and now
yeah,
you don't have so much fear? What is the reasoning that now it's less fear than before?
yeah. I think I I'm more confident. Like I have faced issues multiple times where I felt like the world was gonna go down, and it didn't, and I was able to figure it out. Um, so that's I think that's just that just gives you more confidence. Also, um, yeah, I just been trying to save a lot of money, and try to build that safety net for myself, which just makes me feel better. Before I didn't have that. So it was like, you know, I don't have that much to go on if things go south for a couple months, you know. Um and yeah, I think just doing it long enough, it just makes you feel that even if I were to go out of business, I could probably do it again. Um I think that just removes a lot of the fear, in my opinion. Um, yeah, there's always that like trying to put yourself out of business kind of uh, thought pattern where you just figure out what's wrong about the business, and that brings up some anxiety. But it's one of those things that if you do it often, it actually reduces the fear because you're confronting it, right?
Mm.
Um, but what about you? What made you ask that question? And what will you say?
No,
What will be your answer?
no, I'm just curious. I sometimes I do have fears as well in the business, and it depends. Again, it depends on the situation, of course, and why the fear is. But I think a lot of business owners, they constantly facing the fears, because there's so many decisions that you need to make, and if you have a lot of people depending on you, and you have employees and the team and responsibilities, and the bigger you get, I think the more fear you have, because any bad decision can basically, I mean, nowadays, one bad decision in a business, it can collapse the whole business. I mean, it all depends on the risk you're taking, but that's why I ask you that question, because I think whoever have a business, will always facing some sort of a fear in a process, you know. And since I started the business journey, you're saying you feel less fear now, but since I started my own business, that uncertainty, and I would call it fear as well, it never goes away. It never goes away,
Yeah.
because you have you have like because when you, let's say, you work for someone, you have, yeah, you can get fired, but then you go and find another job. But we, as a business owner, we don't want another job. We want to have our own business. We want to succeed in our business, and we don't have that option. You know what I mean? I mean, we always can close the business and open the other one, but still, that uncertainty, I think, is always present, which I can also call like uncertainty slash fear. That's why I
What
asked
what,
the question.
what will you when you say fear? What will you say what is it you fear?
N- No, the constant fear is on an uncertainty. You don't know. In our e-commerce business, let's say Amazon is constantly changing. You wake up one day, everything is amazing. The other day, everything is going to hell. It's because a lot of changes going on. It can be on the Amazon side, it can be in a vendor side, that you're working with the business with someone. It could be with your team. You think your team is an amazing, and then your team start failing apart. All those things all the time. It's like it's a constant thing. It's a constant thing.
But it seems like a stress what you're talking about. No,
And what?
it seems like a stress what you're saying, or what?
Stress.
Yeah, like why would you call it fear?
Well, stress is, uh, I don't know, stress or fear. Stress is, I just already used to
Yeah,
stress. Stress is
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Stress is whatever. No, I'm talking about that. It's not like fear that you fear of, I don't know, going out. No, it's just a fear of uncertainty. That peace of mind that that I might have before having a business. I don't have that anymore. Like a peace, like real peace of mind.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But stress, yeah, stress is just part of my DNA now.
Got it. Interesting. You know
So
what?
that's
I think
why,
that
because we're talking about the emotions, so it's like that's one of the emotions, like, that I constantly facing. Whenever you have to make a decision, you have to make sure the decision is correct, because again, you can fail, or you can, or I mean, you have to analyze well always any steps or any decision you do in a business. you know
yeah,
and sometimes it can go well or amazing, sometimes it can go bad. you know
yeah, yeah.
We're talking about emotions, so, That's
No,
why I
that's
bring that
true.
up. But but in business, I think the emotional stability and having that emotional intelligence, I think it's very crucial, because you cannot be you cannot make a decisions on those, like, those people that are like reacting crazy reaction on some stupid things in life. If you are like that in business, I mean, I don't think you can survive, you know.
Yeah.
You really need to be calm. You need to control those emotions. Doesn't matter what emotion it is. It can be excitement, and you can make a bad decision because you're excited. It can be fear. You can make a bad decision because you have fear, or you're fearless, whatever it is, so having that, controlling those emotions, it's a crucial for any business.
Okay, so two things. One, based on that, one of the best habits I have taken on has been, like, if I don't have to make a decision right now, I don't make it. Meaning,
Okay.
like, I sleep on it, I take it later. Um, Especially for important decisions. There is a lot of money to me attached to them. I just don't take them. And what I have found is that just letting them, like, giving time, just focusing on our thing, or just not taking the decision, allows me to just think about it differently, or let new information come in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that has saved me a lot of money, and has saved me from making a lot of bad decisions. Um, yeah, I'll probably would have to. Yeah, I remember talking about this with my father a lot, about a lot of different examples. But that has been super useful. And then about fear too, I will say that if you ask me what I fear the most, of course, the fear that um, certain things happen in the business that make it go down. Um, but what I think I fear the most is falling behind myself, kind of like as a professional, meaning I'm not, yeah, I'm just not getting more skilled. Like, I'm falling behind when it comes to skills, um, as a person relative to other people. Um, because I think that I have that belief that if you are skilled enough relative to most people, like, you'll figure out a way to make money, right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I
so
think developing yourself, you're never gonna go wrong with that. Building your skill
yeah,
set, it's always uh it's always a pro for you.
yeah, yeah. Um, Also, like, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I will always aim to be an entrepreneur. Um, and actually, when I was going to college, my goal was to graduate with a business and kind of like live off of that, and that's what I did. And I said no to a few opportunities to work, just to do that. Um, but now I'm way more open to the idea of working for a company. If my business were to go to zero today and I was depleted of everything, I'll work for a company while I build something. Uh, and I wouldn't, and I pay for my stuff, pay my bills, make sure that my family's taken care of. Um, and that's it. Like, as long as I'm healthy and my family is healthy, like, it's fine. Like,
You don't mind to work. So what you're saying, you don't mind to work for someone else,
I mean, that's not what I want to do. But what I'm saying is that
but you don't mind.
what I
Right.
really fear is not being able to provide for myself and my family. And
Mm.
I know that, I mean, I should be able to do that, right? I don't feel not being able to do that. Um, so yeah, everything else I wouldn't say I fear that much,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. you know?
Yeah, I would in that sense I would set apart, I guess, because I wouldn't be able to work for anyone else. I think that would I mean, if I have to, because I have to, I would do it. But I would do everything possible to not to, because
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, I think we adapt to everything, you
yeah,
know?
I mean, yeah, of
And
course.
if you were forced to be in that position, like knowing you'll find a way to be freaking happy anyways as you grow whatever thing you want to grow.
Mm.
Um, so yeah.
One of the things that you just mentioned, which is one of the teaching of Tony Robbins, he talked about it. Something similar to what you said, but just a little bit different. And I just want to share it with you. So you're saying is if there's something happen in your business, or there's a decision that you need to make in the business, you don't do it right away if you don't have to, right? And then you just sleep over, maybe do it the next day. His approach is saying you should have already planned all the decisions that you have to make in case something happens ahead of time, with the best state of mind possible. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's say something happened, you should already knew that that could happen, and then the right and the before time, when you're in a good state, when you feel good, when you feel energized, you decide what should you do when that happens. You know what I mean? But not when it happened,
Okay.
but proactively plan. So once it happens, you already have the steps to do what you need to do in the best state of mind. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what his teaching is. Not always happens like that, but it makes total sense, you know, because that's gonna be the best decision you can make. Because yeah, you might sleep over, but it's still not gonna be in the best state of mind. You're still gonna be worried. You're still gonna be not in the best moment, not in the best of yourself to make the decision.
Okay. So wait until you are in your best state to
No, no,
make the
no. You
decision.
should already have the answer for that problem before it happens. So be proactive. So
Oh, okay.
being proactive, that's one thing, and
Got it.
and
Yeah.
made that decision in your before it happened already. You
Yeah.
got it?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if that happened today, you should have that answer already, like a week ago or 2 months ago, already written down and planned in your best
Got it.
in your best state of mind.
Yeah.
But again,
All right.
it's in the perfect world. Sometimes
Yeah. Yeah.
things happen that you wouldn't, but you should be proactively planning for it, for any situation that can happen in your business.
Yeah. Yeah. In my case, it was more of it's Friday afternoon and I'm thinking about placing a big order. It's not gonna get processed
Mm,
that Friday.
right,
It's gonna get processed on Monday. So I'll take the decision. I make the decision on Monday. Like I place the order on Monday.
right,
I'll wait the weekend just in case new information comes in. Sometimes I'm like, it's Sunday, and I'm like, well, before placing that order, I could reach out to this order supplier, ask for a quote, and if it's better, try to negotiate the price down. And I,
right.
you know,
Or maybe by Monday there's a new discount came out and now you have a better price. You know? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, definitely.
things like that.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, man. Awesome. Good discussion. We have
Yeah,
a
it's good.
next one. We have a next one coming on September 4th. And the book is, see here. The next book is As a Man Thinking by James Allen.
Mm,
I think I read that book before.
really, I haven't read it.
But yeah, interesting book.
All right.
Awesome, Stefano. And also, just want to let you know we have September 7th, the TikTok girls coming. So that's a good news. So I hope you're going to be there with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the calendar right now. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
11 a.m., right?